This is Lynn Garrett again with Keller Williams Central 75 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and today I'm going to be looking at the presentation number 5 in my series on converting your property to a midterm rental. And we're going to take a look at the, hold on, let me start presenting. We're going to look at the financial matters that you need to consider before you decide whether or not to convert your property to a midterm rental. And if you're already decided that you're going to do it, then how are you going to accommodate those financial issues? Okay, are you ready? Let me go ahead and stop my video and start sharing my presentation. Okay, hopefully you can see my video right now. So when considering financial matters for your short-term rental, you need to look at the following items. If you are going to use flex strategy. And just a reminder, a flex strategy is a strategy where you have gaps in your bookings, your empty spaces, your vacancies, filling up with shorter term stays. For shorter term stays, you need to look at flexible pricing because prices for housing in your area or prices for rooms or homes in your area during summer might be very different from during winter. When you secure your longer term stay, let's just say 4 months or 6 months tenant, the price is going to be the same whether it's June or January. But when you are doing a flex strategy, you might want to consider doing deeper research into what kind of prices you can charge per room or per house during different types of the year. This will go into your ability to estimate your income. Because if you're using a flex price, then your income is going to be pretty much determined. If you're going to use your static price, which means you're only renting the property for minimum of 6 months, and the rent is fixed for that 6 months, then absent any vacancies, it's very easy to predict your yearly income. While if you have a flex price with a hybrid strategy, then your income could be actually maximized to an nth degree by using smart pricing during peak seasons. You also need to consider management costs, long-term management costs of the property. If you're planning to run the property fully yourself, including bookings, including advertisement, including day-to-day management like cleaning or taking care of stuff with a non-working burner, etc. Are you going to be doing it yourself? Are you going to hire somebody? And also cleaning costs. Are you going to be cleaning yourself? Or are you going to hire somebody? So those are your management costs. I put the cleaning and the management costs are all together. And also you need to consider what is going to be your one-time setup costs and what are going to be your repeated costs. So the setup costs are going to be furniture, devices such as smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detector, furniture for patio, investing into lighting, better lighting, investing into maybe putting a fence around your property so guests could stay and have privacy in the backyard. And also repeated costs. Repeated costs are those that are going to incur every month. They're going to be your utilities, they're going to be your cleaning and management fees. Okay, let's look at the repeated costs called housekeeping. For the housekeeping items, you need to kind of consider the costs are going to depend on the answers to these questions. So will your room be rented by room or as an entire house? Which means that when you're coming to clean, are you cleaning an entire house at once from top to bottom? Or you're just cleaning one room and the living areas are maintained in a fairly static, clean condition throughout the rental process. When you're checking in, how are you going to prep the space? How much furniture do you need to clean? What kind of surfaces do you have? Do you have carpet versus hard floor, etc.? And also, if you're going to provide periodic cleaning, how often will your periodic cleaning be? Now, bear in mind that if you're renting an entire house, then creating periodic cleaning gives you an opportunity to have your eyes and ears inside of the house so you can see if there's something strange or unplanned happening in a house. So if you see dog poop on carpet and children drawing crayons on your walls, the sooner you detect this kind of behavior, the sooner you can address it, the lower is going to be the remediation cost. So even though cleaning has costs, it also brings you benefits, or periodic cleaning has costs. It also brings you benefits, especially if you're doing a whole house rental. Also, you will need to consider management of sheets, comforters. So if you have, for example, one king bed, two queen beds, and one twin bed, consider how you're going to manage and who specifically is going to keep an eye on the fact that the queen bed sheets and pillowcases do not get mixed up with kings, etc., for easier sorting and organization. So somebody will have to wash those items, sort those items, and put them into proper containers of some kind for easy access during cleaning. Then you need to have preparing bedroom sets, especially if you have short time between move-ins and move-outs, let's just say less than 1 day. It is really important to have containers like totes, plastic totes, that just have one set of bedroom, which includes comforter, pillows, pillowcases, sheets, any kind of decorative pillows, and any kind of item that you plan to give to a tenant, all sitting in one tote, ready to go for your cleaning crew to be picked up, put into the room, and immediately placed in their places. Who's going to take care of it? Who's going to maintain those plastic totes? Managing the cleaning supplies and the pantry supplies. If you're providing any kind of cleaning or pantry, for example, free coffee, free oatmeal, etc., then you need to consider who is going to check up on the stocks or how low you are on certain items, and then who is going to report you back when those items need to be resupplied. If you allow pets on your property, you need to consider what kind of surfaces you have. So for example, if you have furniture that is fabric, it's probably going to be full of pet hair. If you have carpets, they're probably going to be full of pet hair. If you have the type of sheets that pet hair tends to cling to, you're probably going to have a lot of trouble cleaning. So for that reason, even during the setup process, if you plan to allow pets, consider to buying items that might be a little bit more expensive, but that do not have such an ability, such a difficulty with cleaning. So for example, leather rather than fabric prevents hairs from clinging to the furniture. Sheets, different types of sheets have different ability to retain pet hair, and also different types of bed covers can be easier or harder to clean if the pet slept on it. Now, be aware that pets can sleep on your furniture even if you formally prohibit pets. And also, even if you prohibit pets, people who have emotional support animals are going to be able to stay in your room regardless. So from the very beginning, just assume that pets will be in your rooms and how you're going to protect your rooms. And then access to supply closet. The supply closet should contain extra cleaning supplies and extra food supplies if you provide coffee, and also extra pillows, extra blankets, extra bed sheets, etc. So who is going to have access to that? Is it going to be your cleaning lady? Are you going to allow tenants access to that closet? Just consider that. And also emergency access. You need to have a way in case of an emergencies to quickly access the rooms and remediate problems. So that's from a standpoint of cost. So when you're considering the cost of your setup, look at this question, the list of these questions, answer those questions, and that will help you to predict the type of expenses that you will need to maintain your preferred management housekeeping system. As far as hospitality and management costs, again, take a look at that list, and by answering the questions on this list, you will be able to predict your management costs. So questions: who is going to be managing your booking? Who is going to be managing your pricing research and your pricing schedule? Are you going to be doing it yourself, or do you need to pay somebody to do that? Who's going to be posting your ads and responding to questions? So typically, people don't just book your room. You have to have a person, either you or somebody else, who is monitoring different website signups. You're going to have accounts on multiple websites, and people will be asking questions. Can I bring my pet? Can my boyfriend stay with me? What are the quiet hours? Are there any access to the public transportation? What are the nearby restaurants? So people will ask you all of those questions as if you were travel advisor or something like that. And sometimes they will say, how far is your house from a nearest library or something like that. Somebody needs to manage answers to all of those questions. And you need to ask yourself, who's going to be doing it? Creating a 5-star experience for guests. Now, if you are going to advertise completely on some websites such as Facebook or word of mouth or something like that, this is going to be less important. But if you're going to advertise on websites like Verbio or Airbnb, maintaining 5-star rating is going to be critical. And to obtain a 5-star rating, you actually need somebody who is skilled in hospitality. How are you going to greet the guests? Is it going to be a welcome basket? Is there going to be periodic cleaning? Are you going to do periodic surprises or pizza parties for your guests? So all of this creates 5-star experience that can get you the next guest into the door, but who is going to be managing all of this? Who is going to be doing guest screening? Are you going to rely on Airbnb and Verbio screening processes? Are you going to have additional screening process? So for example, running them through some kind of a background check? If yes, who is going to be running the check and who is going to be paying it? The guest or you upfront? Verifying check-in and check-out times. Guests tend to have very quickly paced lives, and very often their check-in and check-out times can change frequently. And if you are not on top of the check-in and check-out times, especially in a room-by-room rental, when you might have 3 different people checking out of 3 different rooms and checking in on 3 different rooms on the same day, unless you're on top of that, you're probably going to start having less than 5-star experiences very quickly. Who is going to be in charge of communicating with cleaners and contractors? And once the cleaners and contractors are done and left your property, how are you going to verify that they produced a satisfactory result? Who's going to go to the property and open the oven and open the microwave and look under the bed to make sure that there is no pet hair or dust under the bed? Is it going to be you or is it going to be your manager? You need to answer those questions. Who is going to be in charge of keeping track of supplies? How low are you on cleaning supplies, free coffee or pillowcases, etc.? And who is going to be giving you a list of things to the order? Just to let you know that on an average, your pillowcases and your bed sheets and even your comforters will probably need to be changed every few months because guests spill stuff on them. They spill grease, they spill sauces, they eat in their rooms, and you have no way of tracking it or preventing it from happening. So in one of my in my mosquito house, I have probably threw away 3 sets of sheets right now just because they were so covered in grease stains that I considered them unsolvable, legible after 3 or 4 guest stays. So your ability to use the same bed sheet for 2 years is not likely to be happening with your guests using your property pretty much like a hotel room. Who is going to be handling questions, complaints, and requests from guests? So if your guests say that the hot air is not hot enough, if cold air is not cold enough, dishwasher is not cleaning as well as they expected to, microwave is not responding, microwave buttons are not responding, the front door is not locking properly, the keypad on a door is not locking properly, who is going to be making sure that those requests are taken care of? Is it going to be you, your management company, your cleaning people? You have to think that through. What if there's an emergency situation? The lights are out completely. There is no water, there is no lights for whatever reason, disaster struck or weather related or just a general outage of your area. Who is going to be handling the guest situation in that case? Is it going to be you, your manager? If you have furniture, if you obviously you're going to have furniture, when you're checking in, obviously your furniture is going to be in pretty much perfect shape. But when you're checking out, who is going to be doing the detailed inspection on furniture to make sure that it is in the same condition as you took it in? Providing routine maintenance. Who is going to be changing air filters, installing batteries and smoke alarms? If there's a harsh winter coming in, who's going to be taking care of winterization, posting rules on winterization, etc.? Again, you need to look at all of those items and then managing non-paying issues. If the guests have not paid for the last, 2 weeks of their stay, what kind of recourse or what kind of resources do you have to quickly end the situation in which you're losing money? Then the last thing to review in this section is where to expect extra wear and tear. So if you used to be a long-term landlord with 12 months rent, you're probably used to a certain amount of wear and tear, but here you're going to have slightly different wear and tear that you need to keep in mind. Especially if you're renting your house room by room, you're going to have a very high level of consumption of electricity and water. Also, it depends on the type of people whom you rent to. So if you're renting to mobile professionals who might have 4 or 5 computers in their room alone and then 16 devices on top of that, then your electricity consumption for those people will be higher than it would be, for example, for hospital workers who are gone for 16 to 18 hours per day and they only come home to sleep. But regardless, you're going to have water use that is higher than you're usually used to, because when you live at your own home or when your tenants pay for their own water and electricity, they're very conscious of the cost of those utilities. The moment that the utilities are free for them, if you're providing free utilities, that's the moment when they decide to take 25-minute showers and run a space heater in a completely empty room all night. With more devices connected, do you need to have extra circuits? How old are your electric circuits? If you're living in a house or if you're renting out a house that was built in 1940s and the electrical was never upgraded, it is very likely that you're going to start seeing people complaining about the breakers going off because they overload on the electrical system. You will need to have wash and dryer, and please be aware that the wash and dryer use will be very heavy. People will be using those things mercilessly, whatever it is, and without even considering the wear and tear on those devices or the cleaning of the lint, etc. And you need to keep in mind that when you're buying those devices, if you don't currently have them, you need to go with models that do not have frequent breaks. So go and review those items online before you purchase them, and purchase only the most steady models that can withstand a huge amount of abuse. The same goes for the fridge, because the ice dispensers in your house are going to be used by, especially if you're doing room by room rental. Imagine that you have 8 adults or 16 adults living in your house. Imagine the amount of ice those people need. Or look at the reviews on a fridge with ice dispensers before you buy them. And if there's frequent complaints about ice dispensers, just do not buy that fridge no matter how cheap it is. Flooring. I already mentioned that you might consider getting rid of your carpets and withstanding that expense upfront, because trust me, it's going to catch up to you regardless. The amount of traffic on midterm rentals is very heavy, and if you're doing it room by room, then it is triple heavy. So for that reason, LVP or any kind of highly water resistant, stain resistant type of and scratch resistant type of flooring should be something that you are considering, even if it costs you a little bit to switch up your current flooring. And then showers. If your showers are finicky, then consider investing in updating your showers from the get-go. If they have leaks, if they have issues with water supply, if they're small and tiny and very narrow, this will be a problem, because if you have guests who, if you're doing room by room rental, then you might have 8 guests using one shower. Just consider the wear and tear on the shower, on the plumbing, on the water usage, etc. Even if you're doing full house rental, people, again, since it's not their utilities, it's not their shower, they're paying what they consider like hotel prices, and you're charging hotel prices or above, they're going to use those utilities mercifully, and you will need to be able to keep them clean, keep them functional, and expect a lot of maintenance on those areas. Okay, that's about it for this particular section of the presentation. Again, my name is Elena Garrett. I am currently managing midterm rental in Mesquite. I plan to buy additional midterm rentals in the Dallas-Fort Worth area throughout the year in 2025. If you're thinking about converting your property to a midterm rental, feel free to connect with me. I will probably be able to give you a lot of practical advice. That is it for now. Let's go ahead and switch to my video, and we're going to see each other at the next video, which is going to be on items related to where to find tenants. I'll see you at the next video.